Hey folks, so today to do some more Farkle is these, I never can pronounce this right, Kuryakyn, I guess, Kuryakyn ISO grips, made for the Goldwing heated grips. Now, there's been a few posts on how to do this on Spyder lovers, and of course one of them is you gotta cut off this, this rubber end here and make it flat, alright? Now, that's not because you can't get this on, it's because there's no way you're going to get it clamped with this thing sticking. I actually was able to put these on fairly easy without any soap or anything right over top of this. But once I got it together, it wasn't going to be possible to do. But one of the problems that I've seen, and let me put this on, one of the problems that I've seen is you see they extend beyond the stock grip. And one of the problems I've seen with everybody that I've seen have these on is these rubbers snap in to the grip, right? And out here on the end, everybody I've seen, it became unsnapped and is now down inside and kind of loose due to the fact that there's nothing here, right? So one of the things I'm going to do is I'm just going to fill this with some rolled up, I don't know, cardboard or something, maybe a rubber stopper trimmed or something to keep that from happening. All right, the other thing is the hassle you have once you get these on with getting these into the slots as well as clamped. And I thought about this. I'm like, well, wait a minute. Why can't I just split these right up the middle on both sides, put them on the grips, and then clamp them together? And if need be, maybe take a little bit of, trim a little bit of where the seam is, just trim on each side a little bit so that they can close together without being so jammed up tight. All right, so what have I got to lose? If I split these in half, I think it's still going to work. What I've got to lose possibly is it's slipping on the grip, and if that happens, you can always put some double sticky tape to keep that from happening, similar to the grip buddies, that original grip buddies that I've got on. Love the grip buddies. Unfortunately, they wear out pretty quick and start to look like shit. But anyway, we'll see how these do after I get them on. But trimming this end off is a permanent thing, so realize that. Now, I would imagine if ever you want to take these off and put something else on, the fact that there's an end cap, if you trim these off fairly clean, may not look too bad, and then you could put maybe a little wider grip puppies on to hide the fact you've trimmed that off. Just some ideas, but once you trim this off, you're committed. Anyway, so I'm actually going to get to doing that. I'm going to trim this off. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take an X-Acto blade, run it level with the grip, and then with the X-Acto blade sticking out, move it around the grip to try to trim this off as cleanly as possible, possibly to not look like it's been trimmed off. Not sure I'm going to be able to do it, but we'll take a look once I go for it. All right, so let me get that done and we'll come back. Okay, so not too bad. I went in with an X-Acto blade, and then while it was sticking out this side, I just kind of, nice brand new sharp one, I just kind of pushed it along. It looks like it's been trimmed off, but it's not as bad as some of the pictures I've seen online. All right, so I'm going to do the other side now, and we'll continue on. Okay, so again, what I said I was going to do was cut the rubber sleeve, that's one piece, right at the seams. One second here. Right at the seam, as you see, and basically split them in half, right? Now, when these things bolt on, there should be no problem with them going anywhere because they fit tightly. So I've already test fit them, and it looks like I'm not going to go through any kind of fight trying to get these put on and clamped. And remember how these work. And by the way, I test clamp these together. What a pain in the rear to get unclamped once you do. But you'll see there's tabs, right, and notches on this side. So once you get these clamped together, those tabs snap into those notches. Now, even just doing this on the bench and then trying to get them apart is not fun. I literally had to kind of like slide it apart. But anyway, so we're going to see how this goes with putting them on without having to use vice grips at the tabs here or hose clamps to try to force it. We shall see how it goes, and I'll be right back. Okay, so I believe I'm going to be able to put these together, especially once I start tightening up the screws, without all the fight, all right, now that I've split those. But one thing I did want to point out is you can see, because these extend past the stock grips, you can push this rubber in. And again, I've seen it pushed in and slid over. So again, what I'm going to do is I'm going to pack this area with, I'm going to find something, maybe just pack it with paper, you know, or something to fill this area so that rubber can't be pushed in. All right. So anyway, I'm now going to go to town and try to get these on. By the way, once you snap these on, it's going to be, they're not easy to take apart again, okay, with these snaps. So I wouldn't snap them on and then go, hey, I forgot the paper. Get it ready now and get it on there now, all right? Or whatever you're going to stuff in there, okay? So here we go. We're going to go for it. Okay, so as you see, they're on there. Piece of cake. What I did is I tightened up both screws, completely closed the clamp. It was slightly bowed here because the snaps weren't in. Then I pinched this together and put the end cap. Now, by the way, I made a filler in here. You can kind of hear it. I used peanuts, packing peanuts, and just packed it until it was tight. But the rubbers aren't going anywhere. Anyway, then I squeezed this closed and tightened up 2 diagonal screws just to hold this end together. Then all I had to do was get those snaps. So what I did is bear with me, I put a rag around it, and then right in the middle where that metal is, I took a set of channel locks, and I barely squeezed it. I just squeezed a little bit, pop, and they clamped. Piece of cake. I probably could have done it without the channel locks, but it helped. The amount of squeeze I did hardly did anything. I probably could have really squeezed hard and done it. Another idea would be just to put a piece of rope around here and twist the rope, and so it closes like a noose. It went on so easy it wasn't even funny. So the bottom line is splitting the rubbers, getting the rubbers into these first, then clamping it on made that job a heck of a lot easier. As you can see, it isn't going anywhere, all right? Same tightness, I just cut the rubber. Didn't remove any rubber. Just made the installation easier, okay? So I'm going to go do the other one now, and then I'm going to put the helmet locks on, and we'll come back and take a look. Okay, so repeat procedure. This time I'm going to show a little more detail. Put both screws in, tighten them all the way so the gap was closed. Put the end cap, while pinching it, I tightened 2 adjoining screws. This held the end pinched closed. As you see, all we have left to do is make this gap happen. Now again, I think if you had enough power in your hands, you could do it. But I'm going to put a rag over it and take the channel locks, and right in the middle, right between here, just give it a slight squeeze, and bam, it should snap together. I don't think I can do it while holding the camera, but hold on, let me try. Okay, I've got the rag around it. I'm just going to give a squeeze with my left hand, and bang, you heard it click. Let's see if it worked. Bingo. Not very hard at all. I can see I need to do right back here, right in this spot, just to get that snapped a little more. But as you can see, it's not a hassle like the procedures other procedures I've seen using hose clamps and everything. So anyway, let me get this snapped a little better back here, and that's going to do it. I just got to put on my helmet locks, which is fairly simple. You just take off your end cap, put your helmet locks on, and you're done. I recommend a little Loctite on the screws on these. They're not Nylocks or anything like that, so a little blue Loctite when you put this on, keep you from losing screws, all right? Anyway, pretty simple installation by splitting that rubber. My opinion. There you go. Okay, there's final product. Grips are on, very easy, and the helmet locks I put on each side. Now, one thing I did have a problem with was after I got this on, the back side opened up a little bit. So the way that works is, for me, I put the screws in from the bottom. The top half has the tangs, and the bottom half has the notches. And obviously, what had happened was I had snapped this all together, and then I found it hard to take apart. This is before I even put it on a motorcycle. I was just playing with how they worked. And so what I had to do was, I had to unsnap them again because they weren't staying snapped very well. And then what I did is on the bottom half, I took the channel locks with a rag and I squeezed them together. This way, when the tabs went in, they literally snapped. I think what happened was when I put them together and then pried them apart, I flexed open this bottom half, which would not allow the tangs to lock into the bottom half from the top half. So again, they popped apart on me. I took the end cap off. I was very easily able to pop them where the tangs are. The bottom half I squeezed a little bit to get it together, then snapped them back together, and now they're perfect, as you can see. So anyway, the easy way, split the rubbers, don't hassle the job, and it worked for me. Hope it works for you guys. We'll talk to you later.